Hi everyone, this is Rita Holmes, independent demonstrator with, Stampin' Up in Ohio. Almost goofed that up. But anyway, I am here to bring you a video on some multiple techniques. I saw this card on another, I don't know if it was a YouTube video or if it was on Pinterest or what, but I saw it. I liked it. It's with a stamp set that I had bought when our last annual catalog came out, and I've never used it. So I thought I am going to use that stamp set and I'm going to make this card because I really, really, really liked it. I do a couple things a little different than the lady that did it, but we put our own unique twist on things and our way of doing things, and that's what I'm going to be doing with that. I am going to right now make sure that I can have this on my computer so that I can see myself or see my hands when I do this, and I'm scooting my chair up because I feel like I'm all out of sorts here. But anyway, just wanted to let you know the new catalog will be coming out pretty soon. If you don't have one, you don't have a demonstrator, you would like a catalog, please get in touch with me. I would love to send you one. We have our last chance sale going on, which is all the retired products that's coming out of the mini catalog and the annual catalog. Some of it's discounted, not a lot, but you can go to my store at ritaholmes.stampinup.net and look at the last chance items and see everything there that's on sale or that might be carried over. Some of the stuff's going to be carried over into the annual catalog, the new annual catalog, which goes live, I think, May 3rd or 4th. Let me look on the back of I do have my copy of the catalog already, and it just says May 2023 on it till April 2024. It doesn't have the date, but I think it's around the 4th of May that it starts. So you can be watching for that. Lots of fun and new ideas. I don't have my new stuff yet. I get it Thursday, so I can't wait for that. So it'll be here 2 more days. No, 1 more day. Tomorrow's Thursday. So I'm excited. I want to get everything done, be ready to just look at it and hopefully play with it a little bit, get it all organized. We got a lot of papers new, inks, all of that. So we've got to get all that in place. I am going to turn the camera down so that you can see the card, and we are going to start making it because it's got quite a few techniques in it, and we will be doing that, okay? I will be right with you, and as I turn you down, if you wouldn't mind to share my video or hit the thumbs up that you'll like it, I would really appreciate it. So if you get seasick, go ahead and close your eyes because my camera will turn and look at my ceiling, and then you will get to see the table. I'd say it's looking at my ceiling. Goodness gracious, it didn't want to turn. Nor does it want to turn. There we go. That is my card that we are going to be doing. This is called Olive Branch, which is this stamp set right here. I bought it. I loved it. I just never used it. We're going to use it today. And it'll be fun. It's got a lot of techniques. So I'm going to get right to it to show you what to do. So let's go to what we have as far as our cardstocks. I have Mossy Meadow, cut 4 1/4 by 11, scored at 5 1/2, and folded. Then what I have that's going to go on the inside, but we will stamp it first, is a 5 1/4 by 4 inch sheet, and I'm going to stick it right in there. So then I know that's that one. We have a 5 1/4 by 4 piece of Blackberry Bliss that's going to go on the front. And this one is 5 1/8 by 3 7/8. Yeah, 5 1/8 by 3 7/8 for the front that just shows a small border around the card. So that's what we're going to be using. So first off, we're going to take this and we are going to place our olive stamp with the Stamparatus. Now the Stamparatus has been discontinued through Stampin' Up for a while. It's not in the new catalog. They had it, of course, when that was announced. It went out very, very fast. So I'm sorry that it can't be gotten through Stampin' Up right now. There are a lot of other brands out there. I don't know a whole lot about them and how they work, but there are a lot out there that you can get. Okay, my stamp is going to go just like this. I'm going to have room down here, and I use the word sorry on it, which I think that I will do again. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and stamp the sorry so that we know that it's there. And I'm going to stamp it in the Early Espresso ink, which this will be staying in the catalog, and that is a good thing. Soft Suede is going out, and that was my favorite brown, but that's okay. We can always get used to something else. It's what I say, it's never the end of the world. Might feel like it for a minute, but it's not. There is our word sorry. That's on the front. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to color my olives. So we are going to put this away. And how I am going to color the olives is I am going to be using blending brushes for that. And I just dropped one, of course. Of course, of course, of course. I got an ink pad with ink all over it. I'm going to have to clean that later. I don't know how I did that, but I did. I do all kinds of crazy things when I'm stamping. I don't know about you guys, but yeah, I do have a problem with it. Okay, here we go. What we're going to do, we're going to take yellow first, and I used So Saffron, which is one of the retiring colors, but it's not retired yet, which means that I am going to use it. And while I have this going, I'm going to put that right there just to steady that. Here is my information right here. That has my website for my online store, my host code for this month. So if you don't have a demonstrator, you see something that you would like, you can order at my store. I would love it. And so it is there for your convenience. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the yellow. And I'm just going to ink that up really good. And I'm going to hit the olives. I'm not going to, that's taking up the whole thing. Let me see if I can raise the camera just a little bit to give more of a little bit more room here. So, here's my yellow. I'm going to scoot that over this way. Move a shift, make a shift right here. Okay. So I'm going to take the yellow again, and I'm going to go over those because they didn't look real like the ink was on them. And I want to make sure that the ink is on them. So I'm going to close that up for a minute. And then I'm going to take crumb cake. And with the crumb cake, what I'm going to do is go down the lines of the stems. So I'm going to ink it up good. And I'm just going to touch these stems. Doesn't mean they're going to stay like this, but and if our colors blend, that's okay. That will be okay if they do that. So our next color then is going to be Mossy Meadow out. But I think what I'm going to do with that, because I think on the other one, I used Soft Succulent, and I put that back in the other room because it is going to be discontinued. So I'm going to use this, but I'm going to rub off on it to make it lighter. And then I'm going to rub my leaves. And then we have to have color on our leaves. So what you're doing is you're basically coloring with your blending brush. And the reason why I'm not using daubers is because daubers, when you daub, you get a lot of dark color. You can't blend it as well. So this one doesn't have anything on the tip of it. Get that on the tip. Okay, now I'm going to bring in Evening Evergreen. And I'm just going to hit those colors with Evening Evergreen. And I'm not even going to clean my brush out. I'm just going to add some Evening Evergreen to it. And it will give color. And the more you touch of it, the more color you might get. Just making sure my edges are done. Okay, that's done. Now my last color I'm going to take is going to be Blackberry Bliss. And that is for my grapes. Not grapes, my olives. Every time I pick up this color, I think of grapes. I don't know why. So if I got some of this color on the leaves and stuff, I'm not really worried about. I can take my finger and kind of blend that in. It's not going to hurt anything. I'm going to come back in with my yellow and just hit that yellow. And I'm going to stamp. And then I'll see if I need to add color, because I may. I am just going to rub that on. Get a good coverage the first time and see what it's like. And it's very light. So what we're going to do, we're going to go back over it. So I'm going to hit my leaves. And I'm going to hit my grapes, my olives. I want to call them grapes all the time. So this little guy in here is not getting a lot of color. So we are going to add some color again. And that's why you use this, so you can keep adding your color if you need to. I'm going to bring out the old olive again, because some of these leaves and then hit that again with my yellow. When I put this down this time, I'm going to push on each of my olives with my thumb. Not that my thumb's got a lot of strength in it, but that middle one. One more time. But you really want to take your time to do this because you get your variated color a little bit. I think that looks really, really good now. So I'm going to shut these so I don't get my hands in them. Now what we want to do, and this is something a little bit different to do, is we're going to, I'm picking up some jewels that I dropped. We are going to emboss that with clear embossing powder. But first I need to clean that stamp a little bit because I don't want any color on it. For one thing, it'll get all over my Versamark pad. So I'm just going to take a baby wipe and I'm just going to wipe off the color. And if you can see, even as much as you stamped, you get a lot of color off. So usually I just take my chamois to this. But I did not. I've got a napkin here, and I'm going to soak up the wet stuff off of the stamp. That's not going to look good with my embossing powder. So let's just dry it. Dry it a little bit. How's that for drying? There we go. So now we're going to use clear embossing powder over that. And I think that'll make it pop. So what we're going to do is we're now going to take this off. We don't need, well, no, we're not taking it off yet. We're going to do our Versamark. Whoops, almost goofed up. We leave it on there so that we can do our Versamark. And you know, Versamark is actually just like a glue that sticks to your stamp. It's clear. And it'll hold your embossing powder really well. So I ink that up. I'm going to put it on there. And if I don't get in a spot, I'm not going to care. It's going to make it look a little distressed. So, but I'm going to get that as good as I can. I'm going to leave that sit there a minute. I've got my embossing powder here, and I'm going to use a coffee filter. That's what I like to use to emboss. So let's take this up. Make sure I can see my, I'm going to ink it one more time. One more time with the ink. There we go. I think that'll be good. Let's lay this in here and then we'll come back to that and clean it. And we are going to move this so we can emboss. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my embossing powder, and this is clear. And I'm just going to pour it on my card. Started at the top so I didn't have to put it all the way down. Just making sure that it is all covered. Then we'll take and put this back into the bottle. I love using a coffee filter to do this. Okay, when we do our heat gun, we're going to turn our heat gun on, but we're going to let it warm up a minute. And I just let it get a little bit warm. And then I'm going to take it, and I am not going to do this because you don't get anywhere. You want to start at an area, and you'll see it starting to work. It gets glossy. And then I just work my way around my card. And if you can see how that's working, okay, just make sure that you heated up all your embossing powder. There we go. I think we're good. That really lightens your colors up a lot. And that's okay. So there we have that. Now we are going to distress this. So we are going to need this, I'll leave it on this side, it's fine. We are going to distress this, and what I'm going to use to distress with is in the Perched in a Tree, and this is going to carry over in the catalog. We're going to use this piece, and we're going to use these dots. So first, let's get out the larger piece. I'm going to put it on a block. I'm going to get the crumb cake out because I want a light color. And I am going to ink that up. I'm going to stamp off. And I'm just going to add some color. And I'm mainly just going around these edges. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to ink it, I'm going to go off, and I'm going to drag it. And when I drag this, it's just dragging the color. It's cleaning my stamps, what it's doing. It darkens the edges, gives you some distressed. I know some people are afraid to do stuff like this, but I say go for the gusto. Like my saying says, there's no mistakes in stamping. It's always an embellishment opportunity. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take and drag this over all of this. It's not going to hurt it. And just add some distress in there. So we have that distressed. And now what I'm going to do is clean my stamp. Leave that sit out for a minute because we will need it again. And I'm going to get the little piece, the dots, and I'm going to take the Evening Evergreen, the dark green, and I'm going to take and I'm going to stamp off. If you want to stamp off twice on some of it, make it really light, you surely can do that. And now I'm just going to clean my stamp. Get the extra ink off of there. Not really going to drag it or anything. So there we have some more distressed look to that with the ink. Now what we're going to do, and this part can be done two ways. We're going to put gold leafing on there. Have you ever used it? If you have not, let me just tell you. Let me get mine and show you. I have it in a tub. It comes in a jar like this, and it's called Gilded Leafing, okay? And then all of this was in this jar. So when I dumped it, this is what I got. So let's open it. Sure. Well, there we go. So that's what it looks like, all nice and pretty and gold. But what we're going to do, there's two ways you can do this. You can take a Versamark pad and you can stamp here. You could use, or then use heat and stick powder on it, emboss it, and then put your leafing on it. It's going to stick to all that stickiness. That's all fine and dandy. But if you look at my card, you have places in here that doesn't really have it. And I did that because I didn't want that to be like a solid piece, you know, like when you do heat and stick and you've touched it with your stamp pad. I wanted it to look, I guess I want to call it more airy. So how I did that, let's move some stuff out of the way for just a second. How I did that was, here's my little tools. Put them in a baggie because gold leafing gets, or this gilded leafing gets everywhere. I don't even know that I'm going to use this. I'm going to try not to. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my Versamark. And I am going to hit my card in several places that I might want leafing to be. I don't want it over my words because then I couldn't see it. Okay, it is still wet. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to bring this in and I'm going to put this all over that. And it gets on your fingers and it goes everywhere. Hope you got a craft room that you don't care that you got to mop it up. Okay, see how it's clinging? Now I'm going to take this brush and I'm going to get all that off. So as you can see, it's sticking to places where that Versamark was. Now, is it sticking to every piece of it? No, it's not, but that's because that's not what I want it to do. And what I can do with this is I can control that because, for one thing, it's not embossing powder and it's not just sticking on there. And I can wipe it off. I want to get all these big hunks off. And I like I don't like a lot. I like it to be really, really airy. So I'm trying to get a lot of the big hunks off that's sticking up. And now you're probably going to wonder, how am I going to get all of that to stay that's left on there? And I will show you, because it will end up drying if you don't do anything, and it will flake back off. If you use heat and stick, it will not. But I was going for a different look, like I said, than what heat and stick gives. Okay, there we go. See all the gold on my card? Can you see that? Let me put my brush back in here because it's got gold, the gilded leafing on there, and I don't want it all over my craft room because then I wear it. I'm going to church tonight. They'd wonder what I'm got all over me if I'm going all gold looking. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in a piece of cardboard, and it's just a backing off of one of our 12 by 12 paper packs that came in. And I'm going to lay this, well actually before I do that, I am going to take that and I'm going to adhere it to this. So let's turn it over. Add some glue. I'm going to glue this down so it's laying good and flat before I do my step to keep all of that on there. So let's just bring this in. Pick that up because I like to slide it in place. And I don't want that to come off, so I'm just going to turn that over. I want that to stick good. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to take it, and I'm going to go ahead and put it on my card. So let's take our glue again. And then we're going to do the inside of our card real quick. So let's put that on there. Turn it over one more time. And I'm just burnishing that to where that glue is going to stick really good. It's not to do anything to the gold or anything. So there we go. We've got that. Okay, now what we're going to do is I'm going to bring in, it's called Low Odor Clear Finish. And you get it at Hobby Lobby. And it's this. It's going to put a clear finish on that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shake it up. And then I'm just going to there we go. I just sprayed it real lightly while it's on there. And while that is drying, making sure I got it all. Looks good. Maybe in this little corner up here. There. Okay, that's going to dry. And what we're going to do is we're going to let that dry a second while I finish the inside of the card. So here's our inside of our card. This is the piece. I'm going to bring back in the and I'm going to take my chamois and clean this off. Let's take that off. And we're going to get the other little olive branch. Let's move that out of the way. We're going to bring this in I got ink on my finger, I see. We're going to add this right here. So what we're going to do, and this doesn't take near as long, so don't think we're going to be sitting here forever again to do this. We've already got ink on our brushes. So I'm going to take the yellow and I'm going to ink the olives with what yellow I have. I'm not going to worry about it. My brown on my little stem. I'm going to do green on my leaves. Might have to add some green. It's not looking too dark. And then we're going to add the berries. Okay, let's add that. Push down on my olives. It's kind of light. I think I might have to add some. I'll do the Mossy Meadow. I was hoping I didn't have to add any, but it looks like I did. Okay, let's see what we get with that. There we go. That looks pretty good. We're going to leave it like that. I think that'll do for the inside of our card. We just want some accent. But we're going to distress it just a little bit. I always set a napkin in there, and I don't know why. I just do. Okay, what we're going to do here is we're going to take this piece again. And I'm going to ink it up. Stamp off. And I'm just going to drag this a little bit. I'm not really going all over with it. But I just want that to kind of look distressed in there. Kind of clean my stamp on it. I got the Mossy Meadow out, so I'm going to use Mossy Meadow, and I'm going to do a little bit of the green dots. And there we go. That is the inside of our card. We have a saying to put on it. I put sorry on the front. And then the inside is going to say, I need it on a different block. And it says, may your heart begin to heal. And we're going to do that in the early espresso, since that's what we did the saying in the front one. So you do a lot of techniques on this card. It's just something fun to do. They would be easy to assemble, to do assembly line. You know, do one step on each one of them. Do all the same step on each one, and then come back and do the next one and the next one, you know, and get that pretty well done. Let's bring in our card. It is pretty well dry. There's one little sticky spot over here, but that's okay. what I'll do is I'll use my Versamark so it can lay up on that a little bit while I put this in. We'll put this in the center here, inside. So that is our inside of our card, which looks just as pretty as the outside of our card. And now I'm going to take and put a little bit of embellishments on it. And I'm using the brushed metallic dots. I'm going to use the small ones. And I think I'm going to use, I've got two of the one color, and I'm going to use one of the other color. If I can get this one off my finger. There we go. Put that one down there. Then we're going to put a gold one on. We're going to mix them. I don't think I want my gold one. I'll put it right there. And there we go. We got 3 little embellishments on it. So that makes it a done card. So there is our card. I hope you enjoyed that. It's got a lot going on with it, but look how pretty it is. You get all that gold. You've got the shine from the clear embossing powder, the distress look, and then you open it up and you've got a pretty card inside. I hope you enjoyed it. That's all I have for you today, and I will see you soon. Have a great day. Bye-bye.